A very good afternoon to you tuned into UBC TV. Welcome to Langton News. It's me, Michael Jordan Lokomwa, and this is what we have for you this afternoon. The National Agricultural Research Organization, that is NARO, is conducting its third General Assembly stakeholders engagement aiming at upscaling the benefits of push-pull technology for sustainable agriculture intensification among East African countries. The upscaling of push-pull technology is part of a 5-year project being carried out in 5 countries: Uganda, Kenya, Rwanda, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. And this initiative serves as a practice for mitigation and adaptation to climate change. Experts are reflecting on how to effectively integrate the upscaling technology with the existing systems on the ground for farmers. We have details here.
You cannot talk about sustainability without proper penetration of the private sector. So in the remaining period also, I advise you, the project leader, to think of how do we increase the involvement of the people in the private sector, to create awareness among them, to bring them on board, to push whatever output you have put here for impact.
Push-pull is a technology that is meant to control striker, fall armyworm, stem borer, and then it is also meant to improve soil fertility. So this is a technology where farmers plant maize along with a legume that is called desmodium, and then they also plant napier grass or bracharia along the border. And the bracharia is meant to protect these pests from accessing maize, while the desmodium is meant to repel these very pests, but also improve soil fertility, as we know the importance of legume. So basically, in Uganda, in this project, we are running the project in Kamuli, Iganga, and Namutumba. And so far, a few farmers have reported that they are seeing improvement in their maize yields. At the same time, they are seeing the level of this pest going down as a result of the push-pull.
We have been measuring a number of aspects in these push-pull fields. We have been measuring the yield, we have been measuring the soil fertility, the water content, we have been measuring the insects in the field, the fall armyworm, the stem borers, and so on, the striga. And all of these variables that we are measuring, we are checking what is the impact of the technology on these variables. And we find that there is a huge impact. We are finding various effects also in terms of better resilience to climate change, and including from long-term data. So we can say fairly confidently that this is a technology that improves the resilience of farming for the maize and of other cereal as well. We are also working on integrating this technology with other crops, including various vegetables, including with agroforestry, fruit trees, various other production systems.
UBC Lunchtime News. Scientists have raised concerns over the increasing outbreaks of the African armyworm, a pest for cereal crops and pasture that ravaged crops in the 1970s and 80s. They urge for containment measures before it escalates. Everest Magara, the country-based manager for the Desert Locust Control Organization for East Africa, made the appeal while training sub-county extension officers on African armyworm control in Mukono.
We are here in Mukono to train some sub-county extension officers on the monitoring and surveillance of the African armyworm. The African armyworm is a pest of cereal crops and pastures. And of recent, we have seen that it's making a comeback in many places across the country, based on the experience of 2022 and 2023, where it came in. There was quite a lot of outbreaks across the country, and a lot of crops and pastures were heavily damaged. So we are now trying to train. First of all, we started with some technocrats at the Ministry of Agriculture, Crop Protection Department, and now those people we trained from Nairobi are already here training extension agents at some of the selected sub-counties, and those extension agents will also train farmers such that we get what we call community-based African armyworm monitoring and forecasting, such that in the future we are able to know in advance that the outbreak is likely, and then we are prepared with the necessary equipment and pesticides. So currently we are doing what we are calling piloting. This system used to be around in the 1980s, 90s, but because this African armyworm had almost disappeared for a long time, and that system almost collapsed. But now we are trying to do revitalizing of the same system. And for that matter, we are doing what we call piloting in some 10 selected districts, including Kasese, Chiliandongo, Masindi, and others.
Thank you. Ahead of the reopening of schools next week, fire outbreaks could still pose a danger to the lives of learners if not addressed. A recent study by the National Building Review Board indicates that only 13% of dormitories are within the occupancy limits. This underscores the need to implement basic requirements set by Ministry of Education and Sports, as well as safety and security guidelines issued by police.
Occurrences like these often cause agony, tears, and trauma. Most times, children in school are the victims of fire outbreaks. Human action is the most contributing factor.
And by human action, I mean arson and negligence. So these others, the electrical installation and so on, contribute only a third. So now we have a clear problem in our hands.
A study conducted by the National Building Review Board indicates that 52% of fire outbreaks occur in commercial buildings, 35 in schools, and 13 in residential areas.
Whereas all the schools that were visited were accessible by a fire tender, some of the buildings within these schools could not be accessed. So you have the main gate where a truck can come through, but not all the buildings within the school complex could be accessed.
On January 15th, 2022, 4 children of between 4 to 13 years of age were burnt to death at New Crest Kibedi School. On 25th October 2022, Salama School for the Blind in Mukono, Central Uganda, suffered acts of arson. 12 children died and 4 were admitted in critical condition. These were between the ages of 8 to 12. A similar fire incident affected Kasana Junior School in Nyendo, Masaka City, when 7 children died and 5 were seriously injured. They were between the ages of 6 to 8. The study reveals open risks that could lead to similar incidents.
Only 3 schools had carried out a fire safety assessment by the time. You can imagine, only 3. 3, none of the schools had a fire hydrant.
As schools open next week, there is need to adopt firefighting skills as demonstrated here.
Now, this is something anyone can do and everyone can. It's just seeing and knowing. We advise that a minimum, you must service your extinguisher at least once a year. There shouldn't be a scenario where a year goes by and these have not been serviced.
Some of us, when we see this, we think we are safe. When there is a fire, they will put it off. And yet the thing is not serviced. And if it's not serviced, it's useless. You rather get your buckets of water.
The study conducted in Imbarara, Hoima and Fort Portal saw about 120 schools inspected. 60 of these were government-owned, while the rest were private schools. Henry Okrut, UBC.
Youth members of the NRM Youth League, have denied minimal participation of youth, particularly in high-ranking positions. According to Maxon Muhwezi, one of the members of the Youth League, the youth are often used and then neglected by opportunists rather than being supported to take part in useful development activities. He mentions that they have initiated dialogue with various stakeholders to ensure that the youth as a special group are not left behind, especially in the activation of party structures. We have details to this.
We had the non-aligned movement conference and the G77 plus China. Critical stakeholders in the country about the future of this country. The reason we say NRM Youth League is because the young people are here much longer than any other person. And therefore, for a long period of time, secretively, we have been engaged in issues to do with the future of the country, meeting different stakeholders, asking fundamental questions, but also providing suggestions. One of the most critical areas we have been following up on is the question of limited participation of young people in the politics of the country. The Youth League is saying, in consonance with other youth leagues, by the way, is saying that please, this participation is not enough. For instance, if you have 77% of the population, okay, being young, and you're saying at the largest and the highest structures, youth should be represented by 1 or 2, I think that is quite unfair. But also, we have highlighted a few challenges like high fees, the nomination fees. We have been talking about this money. That a young person from Rujumbura who wishes to go and contribute, make a humble contribution in the National Assembly, has also to participate and compete with a gentleman or with a lady that has been in the government or that has been here for a long period of time, financially. That is quite unfair. So we are saying, if the young people are actually recognized as a special interest group, then why not cut those fees, for instance, so that you capacitate all of us to participate equally and fully. So the issue is not necessarily the young people, because I can tell you, where there has been a gap of virtue, the young people have gone there.
Kira, the Association of Automotive Engineers has officially registered Uganda's first ever manufactured vehicle, the Kayola diesel bus, produced by Kira Motors Corporation under the vehicle registration number 0001.
Science and Technology Minister Dr. Monica Msenero, flanked by officials from Kira Motors, handed over the keys of the new Kayola diesel bus to Uganda Airlines officials in Entebbe. This custom-designed bus, tailored to the customer's specific needs, falls under the Euro for emission standards of sustainable transportation.
It's a show-off. It has an onboard clean, what you would call relate to an airplane toilet. So for convenience purposes, you don't have to make stops for this purpose. Secondly, this bus comes with an all-point air conditioning system. So at every seat, the people on board have access and can control their own air conditioning. It has, of course, it boasts with 2 flippable screens for entertainment on board. It has what we call a PA system, public address system, both for the driver and also for the narrator on board. Then, of course, it has been made with the most exquisite and premium materials. The leather seats, as you've seen, the premium material for the interior panels, the exterior has been designed and customized to the customer's requirements. And the other aspect that we can boast of this, that it has heated side mirrors. For this one, it's a push of a button, give it a few seconds, and you're ready to go for your journey.
Dr. Msenero reveals that Kira Motors' order book for both electric and diesel buses has grown exponentially.
Since we started really demonstrating that we have mature technology, and we have worked very closely with many clients, CAA, to test our technology. Otherwise, the orders are more than the buses that we have, but we shall keep churning them off.
Captain Stephen Wegoe, who received the bus on behalf of Uganda Airlines, emphasized the airline's dedication to the Buy Uganda, Build Uganda initiative in their operations.
And we have tested the product and we have loved it. Yeah, and we would need them. And some of these buses, we may need them specifically for the airside. The airside buses are not the same as the one we use on the land side. Land side is away from the airport. So we shall sit down on that note when the management makes a decision on when to get more buses, and we discuss on that.
Britam Insurance Company has also provided a comprehensive coverage for this bus.
What we are giving Uganda Airlines is an enhanced third party. In other words, anything that this bus should cause that belongs to a third party shall be compensated by Britam up to a tune of 800 million Uganda shillings. That is 200 million Uganda shillings for a bodily injury, 300 million for a series of injuries, and then 300 million for property that the bus may harm.
Have you gone to a tailor before for a bespoke outfit? Well, that is exactly what Uganda Airlines did with this bus. They placed an order and specifications, and Kira Motors Corporation was ready to serve them. 4 weeks later, you're looking at the very fast Kayola diesel bus with the VIN number of 0001. Sharon Chomjisha, UBC News.
Let's take a short break. We have more on return. Please keep it with us.
Fred!
Osmosis.
Freddy! Fred Dollar, my boss, CEO Inojo, the general of generals, the conqueror of conquerors, the first and the final, the sky above the skies, the promised land, the terms and the conditions, the international king crocodile, the source of the Nile.
I don't have money today.
Just take a polite loan of 200k to stock my shop. The signs and symptoms of success. The bank commander, not the bank teller.
Why hassle for a loan when you've got MTN Momo? We're sorting it. Use the Momo app or dial *165*5# for all quick loans. Choose from the different loan options from our partners and get one that works for you. Together, we're unstoppable.
Enyonta eno bwenuma nga nywako kumiro time era nga nozako bwenva mutuyiro mu miro nga nywako mu ofisi ya kwafinera gye munywerayo hydration time yeye kagwenywako the only water that can quench my thirst, yeah. Aquafina we are good. Aquafina hydration that is good.
In the production process of Aquafina, we expertly filter every drop, providing clear and perfect tasting water to help you keep hydrated with the added benefit of minerals. Aquafina is bottled by Pepsi Cola International in Uganda and is available at only 1,000 shillings.
Get value for your money by choosing the right paint. With Global Paints, you don't just paint, but paint for generations to come. Make Global Paints a paint of choice and make your building a paradise. We have weather coat emulsion, undercoat emulsion, silk vinyl emulsion, flat emulsion, super gloss, and high gloss. Global Paint, a reliable product.
The energy of this land was born in the hearts of these men, of these women. It comes to life in the power of these colors and the memory of these scents. The energy of this land comes from here. It comes from Africa, and it vibrates in each of us.
And powered by Africa.
Oryx Gas, powered by Africa.
UBC Lunchtime Business News. Uganda's economy has continued to grow to a rate of about 5.2% in the financial year 2023-24, despite the external and internal shocks that started around 2019 to 20. This was revealed by Ramadan Gobi, the Permanent Secretary, Ministry of Finance.
The size of the economy has expanded to Uganda shillings 184.89 trillion, which is approximately US dollars 49.5 billion by the end of June 2023. This has led to general improvement in the level of economic activity.
The drivers of this expansion in the economy were services, which grew at 6.2%, especially in trade, in tourism, in education, ICT, arts and entertainment. But also agriculture grew at 4.8%, particularly driven by fisheries activities, which grew at 8.6%, livestock 8.8%, and food crop, which grew at 4.7%.
A concern was raised on regarding the underutilization of funds by government entities.
Based on Auditors General's report for the financial year 2021-22, a significant amount of funds amounting about 4.5 trillion remained unutilized. And in the following year, 2022-2023, unutilized balance was 5.8 trillion. And so what do we recommend then? There is a need to establish and address all implementation challenges that have time to time hindered accounting officers from utilizing availed funds from this office, because it affects the economic growth of this country. It's not good that we send money and money comes back and we continue as business as usual.
Relatedly, Uganda shillings 550.859 billion has been released to cater for all security institutions, 90.211 billion for national medical stores, and Uganda shillings 296.578 billion for pension and gratuity, among others. However, with all this in plan, there hasn't been any budget for the salary increment of teachers and medical workers.
Because if we are to give them any salary enhancement means borrowing, and we don't think it is wise to borrow money to pay salary. We should all first work to grow the economy, and once the economy is grown, then we can be able to get more money. And this is the same to other categories of people. You know, I saw a number of agitations. Please, as far as where we sit is concerned, there are no resources for such.
In the meantime, the approved budget for the financial year 2023-24 amounted to 52.736 trillion Uganda shillings, and 4.97 trillion Uganda shillings has been released for the third quarter of the financial year 2023-24. Mariana Wari and Winnie Katwire for UBC.
Centenary Bank has introduced Sent WhatsApp banking to provide customers with convenient and secure access to a wide range of banking services directly through the widely used messaging platform. The initiative is in line with the bank's strategy objective to become a smart bank by 2026, offering inclusive and innovative financial solutions to all.
Today,
much of the time the youth and many of us on WhatsApp spend a lot of time on it. And now instead of having to switch from one app to another, we are giving them the opportunity to stay within the same application, but continue with banking and be able to meet everything we have on a mobile app, paying, transferring money between numbers, paying fees, paying URA and other utilities, paying money from your wallet that is your phone number, directly onto your account and vice versa, as well as EFTs to other banks. And that has been a process we have done and partnered with our agents and other entities to ensure that we serve our customers much better now.
You keep your money somewhere, you want to find it there the next time you access your account. WhatsApp banking is very secure. You interact through the number 0744 200 555, 744 200 555. And there are menus already.
West African states, Burkina Faso, Niger, and Mali on Sunday issued this joint statement blaming ECOWAS of imposing illegitimate, inhumane, and irresponsible sanctions when they staged the coups to take their destiny into what they call into their own hands. The three countries' leadership announced their withdrawal from the 49-year-old economic community of West African countries.
It's the first time in the bloc's 49 years of existence that its members are withdrawing in such a manner. Analysts say it's an unprecedented blow to the group and a further threat to the region's stability. The 15-nation regional bloc ECOWAS was established in 1975 with one goal: to promote cooperation and integration in order to raise the living standards of its people and to maintain and enhance economic stability.
It's a big blow to ECOWAS, that's for sure, because it does mean that the negotiations, the much talked about negotiations between these countries and ECOWAS clearly has not come to light. In fact, it means that they've gone backwards. It means that maybe ECOWAS insisting that a return to democracy might not come, will not be coming anytime soon, certainly not in 2024.
The economic community of the West African states has over the years grown to become the region's top political authority, often collaborating with states to solve domestic challenges on various fronts, from politics to economy and security. Relations between ECOWAS and the three countries of Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger have worsened because of the bloc's choice of sanctions as a key tool in trying to reverse the coups there. ECOWAS treaty provides that its member states who wish to quit the bloc shall give its leadership a one-year written notice, at end of which such a state shall cease to be a member of the community.
In the world of sport, the Uganda Bet Power Fuso Super League table leaders, PAC FC, are eager to bounce back after a disappointing 2-2 draw against Kaboa Dream Team last week. This week, they face Kisugu FC, hoping to return to winning ways.
Pick a ball, take it to your what? To your mother.
Despite the fact they are still unbeaten in the 2023-24 Uganda Futsal Super League, PAC FC are a team that do not expect the bare minimum. So far, they have maintained a winning streak and sit at the top of the table with 28 points from 10 games. Last week, PAC was disappointed with a 2-2 draw against Kaboa Dream Team. They now hope to bounce back as they prepare to face Kisugu FC in match week 11.
We are always ready for our games, so that is why we always come for training, so that we prepare very well for our games, so that we perform very well during the games.
The team believes that their playing style has enabled them to be consistent in the league, hence continuing their unbeaten streak.
We have our style of play. We can keep the ball, we can possess. So those are the major keys that we always use to win our opponents. So we keep the ball, we score, we score, and we press high, so that we keep the game in touch and we can contain our opponents up to the end of the game.
PAC FC will play Kisugu FC at the Old Kampala Sports Arena on Thursday, 1st February 2024 at 7 p.m. Mashomero Victor, UBC News.
Persons with disabilities in Alebtong district are seeking support with assistive devices to ease mobility in accessing social I beg your pardon, still continuing with sports news. The defending champions of the Africa Cup of Nations, Senegal, were eliminated by hosts Ivory Coast in the round of 16 on Monday night after a 1-on-1 draw, only to fall in penalty shootouts.
As Mane swings in across a little bit of space in the box, struck hard and into the back of the net.
In yet another edition of the Africa Cup of Nations, the defending champions have been knocked out. This time around, Senegal is the culprit. Despite taking an early lead against hosts Ivory Coast in the round of 16 on Monday night, Senegal failed to hang on as the Elephants equalized to make it 1-0 with 4 minutes of regular time to spare.
Touch inside, up against Mendy, and he finds the back of the net, and across the country, and all the substitutes run off the bench to celebrate with Cassier.
The game ended in a draw, and the hosts qualified through penalties with a 5-4 score, meaning the Ivorians made it to the quarterfinals.
The central defender, against the post! If he can convert this one kick of the ball, and he does! And Ivory Coast are through to the quarterfinals of the Africa Cup of Nations.
They are joined by Cape Verde, who beat Mauritania by 1-0.
It's going to be a penalty. It's a penalty for Cabo Verde. Ryan Mendes.
African giants in Egypt, Senegal, Ghana, Cameroon and Algeria are all out of the Nations Cup. Action on Tuesday sees Mali take on Burkina Faso, and the 2022 World Cup semi-finalists and tournament favourites Morocco will play against South Africa at 11 p.m. Ugandan time, which will be live on UBC TV. Mashamira Victor, UBC News.
We thank you so much for watching. That brings us to the end of all we had for you this afternoon. Let's catch you in our other bulletins. Bye-bye.
Inspiring Uganda.
Amabara gange ne banyeta Tusime Elizabeth, chairperson Chaka Central Market Vendors Circle.
Leading us with Emioga funds. As business women, we are dedicated to enhancing our living standards. We received 30s and 100
benefited to INE PWDs 110.
Particularly for single mothers and even constructing homes. We are making
UBC, inspiring Uganda.
Hello viewers, welcome to the program Safe Life. I am Kathy Ishimge, and today we are all about breast cancer awareness. And with me, I'm having Nambiru Joyce from Wokaso. You're most welcome to the show. Please say hello to the viewers.
Thank you, Kathy. My name is Nambiru Joyce from Uganda Women's Cancer Support Organization, in brief known as Wokaso. I'm happy to be here and to be here with Kathy.
All right, straight away, please give us a little background of the organization and when and why it was started.
Thank you, Kathy. Wokaso, Uganda Women's Cancer Support Organization, was started in 2006 by women who were cancer patients by that time. So there were 5 women who are undergoing treatment at Uganda Cancer Institute. So they decided to have some time and be together to talk about the disease they were treating. So after that, they came up with a group, which afterwards became an organization. So they wanted to be meeting and have a chat and cancel each other. So afterwards, it became an organization.
Okay. Well, apart from supporting each other, what are other activities that the organization is running?
Okay, after being started to be an organization, there are many activities that we now do. First of all, as I've told you, they started. There were 6, but afterwards they started including other patients, other survivors. So we are now many, up to almost 200 plus survivors who are members of UCASO. So to become a member of UCASO, you just pay a subscription and a membership, which is 50,000 per year, and you become a member. As long as you are a patient, a cancer patient, or a survivor, you can become a member. We have many activities that we do as UCASO, and these include counseling. We do counseling, we counsel patients and their families from hospital and from their homes. We do community outreaches where we go to the community and sensitize them because we want them to know about cancer. As you know, cancer can be treated and cured. So we want to go out and tell them about cancer, and then they screen, because many times when you go to do outreach in the community, we go with a medical team, whereby as UCASO, we do sensitization, and the medical team does the treatment, the screening, and whatever.
Okay.
We also do patient navigation, which is patient follow-up.
Okay.
The way we do it is that when we get a patient, we try to follow that patient to see, we go up to their homes to see how they are faring with the treatment and whatever, because many patients sometimes they drop out. So we always want to keep in touch with them to enable them, to help them not drop out, so that they can finish their treatment and become survivors and still do their work.
Okay. And what are the major causes or the common causes of breast cancer?
Okay, cancer in general, we cannot say that this is the cause of that disease. For example, if you have breast cancer, they cannot come out and tell you that you got this breast cancer because of this. So there is no one particular cause of cancer, but there are what we call risk factors. There are risk factors whereby if you do some of these things, you may get cancer or you may not get cancer. So the risk factors include things like smoking, and as you know, smoking, you may not be smoking yourself, but the people around you who are smoking, so it can also affect you.
You literally are also smoking passively?
Yes, passively. And we also have diet. The way we eat also can cause the body to produce cancerous cells. Because cancer, it is your body cells that become abnormal. They start to do things which are abnormal. So whenever those cells become abnormal, where they start becoming abnormal is where you get the cancer. So if the abnormality starts from the breast, then you get the breast cancer.
Okay.
Because you know, every part of your body can get cancer. So it is where the abnormalities start from, where you get the cancer.
Okay.
There is also over drinking. Alcohol can also cause cancer. Then the lifestyle. Do you do exercises? Because an inactive body can also cause cancer. Then there is also other diseases, other infections which can cause cancer. Like if you have HIV and your body is weak or your immunity is low, you can get other types of cancers. For example, there is this type of cancer called cervical cancer, and in fact it is the commonest cancer in women in Uganda, cervical cancer. But if you have other illnesses and your immunity is low, you help that virus which brings cancer of the cervix to grow, and eventually you get the cancer.
Okay. Well, you talked about a few indicators. I would like to know those few indicators that one could tell that probably they are maybe likely to get cancer, or maybe the breast cancer, literally the breast cancer. Those few things that I shouldn't ignore in case I am seeing them on my body.
First of all, with breast cancer, many people think that it affects only women. But for breast cancer, it is for both women and men.
Okay.
You must know your breasts. How do they look? What is the size of your breasts? What is the color of your breasts? What is the skin of your breasts? So whenever you see any change, it is advisable that you go and see a doctor. We must check our breasts every month.
Okay.
Every month you must check your breasts. As I've said, this applies to both men and women. So if you are a man or a lady who is in menopause, you get 1 day in a month and check your breasts. For example, you can say that I'll be checking my breasts every first day of the month or every last day of the month. So you do that every month. If you are still going in your periods, you count 10 days after your periods, and then you check your breasts.
Okay.
You check the size, you check the color, you check the skin, you check the nipple. Where does your nipple point? Is it the normal way? Has it been like that? Like if your nipple has been pointing like this, and you see it pointing the other way or folding inside, so that one is an abnormality. You must go and see a doctor. Then another thing, we always tell people to check their breasts using their fingers. You use these 4 fingers here and you massage your breast to see whether there are things which are like stones, small stones, like a seed of a cowpea. So you check and see whether you have such things in your breast.
Okay.
So the way you do it, I said you count 10 days after your periods. You check yourself. You can use a mirror and first of all you undress yourself. You look into the mirror and you straight look at your breasts.
Okay.
There you can clearly see the size, the color, the skin texture. Then when you are checking for the things like stones, like small stones, like seedlings, you check and see what is inside the breast using your fingers. So
how am I able to differentiate from those small how are they called, the small other things that develop apart from the normal breast tissues?
Okay, you can detect them using your hand. I mean using your fingers. You can do it while standing or while laying on your bed. You put one of your arm here so that your breast protrudes very well. Then you use these fingers to massage the breast. So you massage around the breast. If that thing is there, you will feel it.
Okay.
So you massage and go up to your armpits. Because in some women, they start from the armpits.
Okay.
You may not have it in the breast, but you have it in the armpit. And another dangerous thing is that many times they don't pain.
Okay.
So you will find women saying, me, I have my thing here, but it doesn't pain. So you don't wait for the pain. As long as you feel that thing inside your breast,
it is abnormal, so it should just be as smooth as, it should just feel the normal breast tissues, but not anything abnormal. Anything abnormal, you run to the doctor.
True.
Ah, okay, that's good. Well, we believe breast cancer comes with a lot of difficulties, and then there is that trauma that it brings when maybe you have to undergo chemo or anything. it really brings a lot of trauma. How do you help people deal with it?
First of all, when you get a cancer diagnosis, that the day that you're told you have cancer, it is not like any other day.
Yes.
And you
True.
live to remember that day until you go to meet your God. Because even the doctor who is telling you that you have the disease, he also takes time to tell you, because they know what it means.
True.
So that from the very day you're told you have cancer, your trauma starts from there. Because you start thinking about your children, if you have children, about your family, about your work, so it is a big thing. But as Wukaso, what we do, first of all, we counsel these patients. And the good thing, because we are survivors, we have gone through it. So we give them our stories, how we have gone through it. So we try as much as possible to comfort them. We know it is not a simple procedure. It is first of all, it is a long treatment. It is not a treatment that you will get in 1 day or 1 month or 1 year. Sometimes it takes a long time. So we counsel them. We tell them what to do. We follow them. That's why I told you that some of the activities we do is to follow up our patients.
Okay.
So we follow them up to their homes, up to the hospital. Sometimes we even accompany them to the hospital, at least to show them where they can get this from, and we even counsel the family. Because when you get cancer, it does not affect you alone.
Yeah.
It even affects the whole family.
True.
So we give counseling to the patients and then their families.
Okay. Well, we would never know if you haven't been through something. Are you yourself the victim?
Yes, I am.
Well, how did you receive the news and how are you managing throughout?
Okay, thank you, Kathy. True, as I've told you, the news because now you are a patient, so that telling you the news that you have cancer, it is something that is very, in fact, I cannot tell you that it is like this, but it is something that it is very sorrowful, very annoying. You will ask yourself questions which you don't have answers. But as for me, when I was told that I have cancer, I cried. I cried, and the doctor let me cry. I cried, but because I had no answers, I had many questions running in my head, which I had no answers to. So after crying, the doctor was telling me, you will be fine. Of course, you think it is the normal way, because they always tell us you will be fine. But now you're asking, how will I be fine? Because first of all, like for my case, I had never seen anyone who had survived the cancer.
Oh my
so
God.
For me, cancer was death. And I think even other people.
If for the general public, yes.
Yes.
We assume the moment you have cancer, you're gone, you're dead.
Because even the people that come to visit us, the things they tell us, the things they talk when they come to see us, it is like, you're now going, what have you done? What have you prepared for your children? For example, for my case, there is a guest who came to see me and asked me that, do you think for you will survive like for a month? Don't you think you're going to die? Do you think you will survive? Then I was like, why can't I survive? Because by that time, at least I had seen some survivors. And the reason why I love Newcastle so much, because my first patient, my first visitor was our Newcastle member. So when she came to visit me, she counseled me, she showed me her scar, because after the diagnosis, they tell you the procedure that you will go through for the treatment. And one of the procedures is surgery, where they cut off your breast.
Yes.
So when the doctor tells you that they will cut off your breast, now your mind go somewhere now else. Because you think first of all, you've never seen anyone whose breast has been cut. So the only thing you think of is death. Because even when we were growing, they were telling us, don't let anyone touch your breast. Don't let anyone box your breast, because it will you will die. So now you think of, what if they cut it? Will I survive? How will the hole be? So when she showed me her scar, I said, now I can do it.
Okay, I would like to understand something. For me, and probably for some other people who have the same kind of thinking that I have, we think that by the time you're told that you have breast cancer, it's automatic that the breasts will have to go off. And probably if they do cut them, it may spread to some other parts of the body. I would like you to throw more light on that and help the people out there understand this better.
Okay. As I've said, there are procedures for treatment, and one of them is the surgery. In some cases, they cut off the breast. In other cases, they just remove that swelling.
Okay.
That one is called the lumpectomy. They remove that swelling. But maybe we can ask ourselves, why do they cut off the breast?
Yes.
The main reason they cut off the breast, because they don't want the cancer to spread.
Yeah.
Now they cut off the affected part so that it doesn't go to other parts of the body. That's why they cut off the breast, just to save your life.
Okay.
That is the reason.
And we've seen in some cases whereby they have cut, but again, they probably delayed. What exactly happens where they cut, but again after some few days or some few weeks or months, you again go back and you're told that it has spread?
You know, cancer has stages. There are early stages and advanced stages. And sometimes probably they cut off the breast when the cancer has already spread to some parts of the body.
Okay.
Yes. So that one may need a medical doctor to talk about it more. But what I know is that when they cut off your breast, they are trying to help you survive. They are trying to help you so that the cancer does not spread.
Okay. Take us through the different challenges that you've been facing as cancer patients, breast cancer patients mainly, and maybe from the different patients that you keep having here and there. I believe you have, and then the challenges that you're facing as the organization.
Okay. As patients, of course, we have challenges which may differ.
Yes.
But the commonest challenges, first of all, with breast cancer, as we have said, they cut off the breast. Now the first challenge, when they cut off the breast, how will you move as a woman?
Sure.
What will you do? Secondly, how will your family look at you? If you are married, will your husband still take you on? Because we have seen some women who have been rejected, who have been abandoned by their husbands because their breasts were cut off. Even their family. Because this treatment does not take a little time. You know, and secondly, it is expensive.
Definitely.
Because at first maybe you may be having your small money, you spend that money, it gets over. Then you start going to ask for help from your family, and they also get to get tired of that, and eventually they may reject you, they may abandon you. Another challenge is our places of work, because you will be off and on. Some employers will stop you from work. So that one is also a challenge. Another challenge, if you have children and you're spending your money on treatment, now these children will lack school fees. They may stop going to school. As a mother, seeing your children at home, you're sick,
it's the most painful
your children
thing.
are not going to school, your husband has abandoned you, so the trauma is really, really big. And that's one reason why some of these patients don't survive, because of the trauma.
Yeah, definitely. Well, let's run quickly through the challenges that the organization could be facing.
Okay, as an organization, because we do a lot of work, one of our most challenges is finances. Because like if you're to go and visit patients, you need some kind of transport to go and visit the patients. We have patients, you go to their homes, they are sick, they don't even have food at home. So as survivors, we try and collect some money from ourselves to help such patients. So, and we have some friends who give us like food, things in kind. They can give us food, they can give us soap, sugar. We go and give those patients. But there are times when we don't have anything, and the patients are there. In fact, they even call us to ask for treatment.
Oh my God.
Like some of them have been told to go and do a scan, but they don't have the money. So they will call you. I've been told to do a scan, but I don't have the money. And for you as an organization, you don't want them to drop out of the treatment. But now, if they don't have anything to eat, if they don't have money to take them to hospital, now it is a challenge.
Definitely. Well, despite all the challenges, I believe there are a number of achievements that you look at and you say, wow, we've really come from far. Kindly mention some of those achievements that you've seen throughout from the time you began to now.
Okay, our main achievement is when we see a patient from the time of diagnosis to a time of survivorship.
Wow.
So, because like me, we have departments in our organization. We have a department which goes to visit these patients. So you see these patients from that time they get their diagnosis. So when you meet a patient who has survived for more than 5 years, and you started with her, you really feel good. It is an achievement.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, what are some of your future plans as Wokaso?
First of all, we would want to see a Uganda which is free of cancer. We may not achieve it today or tomorrow or the other day, but that is our main goal. That is what we want to see.
Okay.
Yes.
That's really nice. Well, what is your appeal to the public and probably the government? And as you're mentioning this, you also give out your last remarks to mainly the growing generation, the upcoming one, because most times we really don't want to even know what's happening around us. We don't pay attention to ourselves and our bodies. Just a little bit of advice to a young girl growing, or maybe a young man growing out there. They say it's mainly for us, but then they forget the men.
Okay. Dear viewers, my appeal, my big appeal is that we go and do checkups. As women, let's go and do checkups. Let us look at our diet. Don't just eat anything.
Okay.
You eat things that will help your body. Then with alcohol, because like the youth, alcohol is
we are consuming alcohol
much.
like there's no tomorrow.
Yes. If you can avoid alcohol, please do. If you can't, you take in bits.
Okay.
The same applies to smoking, because those are some of the things that really cause cancer. So if they can go off smoking, alcohol, it will be the best.
Okay. Maybe you can thank your partners, or probably in case there's anybody out there who would like more information, probably you should also share the website where they could get more information.
Okay. Anyone who would want to find us, we are located at Kamocha at the Catholic Parish, Kamocha Catholic Parish. That is where our office is. We have a website which is www.ucaso.org.ug. Okay. That is our website. But anytime our office is open from Monday to Friday from 8 to 4 every day.
Okay.
So we are there. Anyone can come and find us. We would like to thank UBC
It's our pleasure.
For this program. Thank you so much. Then our other partners, we have many. I may not mention one by one,
definitely.
But at least they should know that we are very grateful. We thank our friends. We have friends who donate to us. As they donate to us, we also go and give our patients. So thank you so much.
Well, it was really nice having you on the show.
You're welcome.
Okay. Well, like you all heard, let's all look at the different things that we take in and try not to just ignore our bodies. Let's all be aware of our breasts and everything that is surrounding us on our bodies. I've been Ishimwe Kathy on the program Safe Life. Your life is your responsibility. Stay blessed.